attorneys say that if she hit him, she did not realize it.
There's zero chance this was an accident.
Dad, I think I struck someone.
I didn't do anything wrong. Karen said that she remembered leaving him at Waterfall.
Karen, we saw you outside of my sister's.
There was another car that I hadn't recognized before. It was a dark SUV.
I've noticed a male and a female in the car.
Did anybody see anything? What happened? And there was one individual that replied several times, I hit him, I hit him.
I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
I hit him, I hit him. Oh my God, I hit him.
It was several times.
Did you hit him with your hand? Did you kick him? What happened? She just repeated the phrase over and over again, I hit him, I hit him.
Just, I remember, all right, backing up and hitting something.
She kept saying, this is all my fault, this is my fault, I did this.
I said I hit him. It was preceded by a did and proceeded by a question mark.
About to go on trial for murder. Why are you smiling? Your boyfriend is dead.
I feel like I'm being so scrutinized. Like, did she blink 3 times or twice? And did she like smirk or look to the right or down and up and left or whatever? And like, it just feels so fake.
We're all in on the same joke, right?
I don't like envision myself having like the white picket fence bullshit.
I hope she did it, and I hope she gets away with it.
The defense claims that police framed Karen Reed. This juror agrees.
I believe there was conspiracy there.
I rather like explain everything else and like I did not hit John with my car. Like I can't make it sincere enough.
It's not a prosecution, it's a persecution of Karen Reed.
What is also clear from the federal grand jury is that this was an investigation which was initiated by the defendant and Mr. Yannetti.
A friend and colleague of Brian Alberts called me on February 2nd.
No, that's not true. That's not true. When I showed up, when I got to them, they're confused. Dave Yannetti's looking.
Well, I haven't talked to Dave Yannetti.
And he had a very distinctive voice, very gravelly voice.
If I knew anything firsthand, they would know about it.
I didn't know what he knew or didn't know. I didn't know how he knew it.
I saw your stuff. I followed you one tonight. And I'll tell you, yeah, I mean, believe me, I'll call you Clarence. If I learn anything firsthand, you're going to know about it too.
There's something else going on here, pointing to a potential other suspect.
Can I ask you, how did you know Colin Albert was in the house?
Who?
How did you know Colin Albert was in the house?
Probably through you. I don't even know Colin Albert.
Okay, you're aware he was beaten up by Brian and Colin Albert.
Did you tell the attorneys that, or David Yannetti or whoever, when you didn't mention the name Colin Albert to them?
I didn't even know Colin Albert.
Okay.
That Brian Albert, his wife Nicole, his son Brian Jr., and Caitlin are not targets of the federal investigation, and I've been given permission to disclose that in open court.
Every bit of discovery that the federal government has from the state case was provided by Mr. Yannetti.
I don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean?
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Of a massive cover-up.
I didn't think I hit him, but could I have clipped him? Could I have tagged him in the knee and incapacitated him? He didn't look mortally wounded as far as I could see.
Karen Reed is 1,000% guilty.
I said, John, can you just run in there and
There is a piece of me that wants this woman to get away with murder.
Which I assumed was going to be in moments. Or that he'd yell to me from the front door, Kay, and it pissed me off.
John, I hate you!
Because one, I didn't really want to be there. Two, I had to go to the bathroom. Soon thereafter, within Dennis probably 2 full minutes, I start calling him. So I kind of slow rolled it off the street, and I'm hoping that as I slowly edge my way down the street, he's going to say, "Wait, Karen, where are you going?" I was home within probably 7 minutes.
John, I'm here with your kids, and nobody knows what the you are, you pervert.
I called him just over 50 times.
50 times?
Yep.
Yep. That's completely normal. 50 times. Why not? Hey guys, let me make sure my audio is working. I hear nothing. Can you guys hear me?
like I can't hear myself through this microphone. I don't know why. Oh. Uno me nieto. Hey guys. Can you hear me now? I just pushed it up a little bit. I know I'm like, I come out super loud sometimes. I must have turned down the wrong thing. But there was a lot that went on this week, so let's see. Still the same. Oh, I think I know. I think there's... One second. How about now? Can you guys hear? Can you guys hear? I don't, it's weird. It's like, I think that when I'm doing streams with other people, the StreamYard volume alters not just mine, but it like lowers mine in comparison to the others. So then when I'm by myself, it's either way too low or way too high, but I have to adjust it. But I think I'm just like in between the others. I can still put it up higher. Let's see, is it the output? All right. So this week was pretty good, I guess. I mean, Buchanan is getting, he's going to be on the stand again Monday. He's the proctor, I guess. He's the one that they're just going to go after for every little thing. I can keep pushing it up. I just don't know. I don't know if people's comments are also behind either. It's still soft. How about now? How about now? I feel like now it's loud for me, but I can still put this down too. I wonder why it's changed. Yeah, Yuri is getting, he's getting pretty attacked about everything. Let's see if... So audio... I did see her giving the finger. Very interesting. So I have a summary. Oh, I don't want an image file. I have a summary of this week. I mean, I think there's just so much. Like, there's so much in those messages that we didn't know before. I think she was giving Erin O'Keefe the finger because I didn't see it. I heard that Erin O'Keefe was laughing when they were reading the text messages, and then that's when she started doing the finger thing. So she could have been doing it towards Erin O'Keefe, who used to be her friend, which, she was friends with all these people. It's so strange. I think they all would have supported her if she just, did the right thing and was a normal person. But instead, she has launched this outright attack on the family and everybody else. But that's how they roll in the O'Keefe in the Reed family, I think. I don't think they... I think accountability might be overrated for them. So here is the summary file. Let's see if this works.
Every statement's different. Under oath, not under oath.
On the retrograde analysis being between a 0.14 and a 0.28, correct?
Yes, I did.
Are you aware of what the legal limit is in Massachusetts?
I'm going to sustain that, actually.
This is very similar to what we saw a year ago.
93 milligrams per deciliter in serum alcohol concentration would convert to between 0.078 and 0.082 grams per cent.
Last one that was given to me, which I would have counted as 3, but they're counting as my 6th cocktail. The guys
Why is she so inconsistent?
Because she's lying.
For the defendant's blood alcohol concentration at 12:45 a.m. on January 29th.
between 0.14 and 0.28 grams percent.
So that would have been my fifth, sixth, and seventh drinks.
What do you make of the blood alcohol extrapolation? Do you think it could have been 3 times the legal limit?
I think it's garbage in, garbage out, and it depends on their assumption of when I last consumed alcohol, and it's an assumption.
And then there was a round of shots that Chris Howard bought that it did take. So that would have been the night.
It was 34 Fairview Road.
Do you recognize the flagpole?
Yes, I do, sir.
Do you know a person by the name of Ryan Nagel?
Yes.
Do you know how hard it was? Do you remember about how many drinks you had?
No.
Did the alcohol affect your perception or your memory at all?
Most likely, yes.
Do you feel
the car coming from the opposite direction was taking a right onto the same street, so we had somewhat yielded to the car. I saw a male and a female inside the car.
Where was the female?
Female was driving and the male was in the passenger seat.
When the taillights were on, when the brakes were on, what color was the glow?
Red, sir.
Did you ever see a missing piece where it was white instead of red?
No, sir.
So Jen was like, oh, like, don't leave just yet because, like, we were celebrating Brian's birthday. If you want, myself and Matt can drive you home a little bit later. So we agreed to that.
Brian had reached out to Julie saying, we're here, time to go.
Julie went out to tell Brian, like, hey, we're not coming with you, but...
You weren't outside for the conversation, so you just heard this secondhand from Julie?
Yeah.
So from what you saw, Julie went in and out?
Yes.
For about 5 minutes?
Yes.
And so she had come outside and we had a short conversation and she decided that she was actually going to stay at the house. She had invited us in, but I had said that I didn't want to go inside. I just wanted to go back to the house.
So think about this for a second. If there really was an unaliving going on, Jen McCabe is like, oh, go invite your friends in. And then Julie runs outside to say, you want to come in for the murder? I mean, the whole scenario of the potential he went in the house thing is just so, it's always been outlandish, but now that we have all the data and everything else, it's like, how are people, what are they grasping onto? And I saw one today and it was pretty wild. Basically, they're saying that he got out of the car while the car was still moving at 12:22, and that was like the flights of stairs, and he went down the basement. But the problem is Apple data only registers flights upwards. It doesn't register flights down. So did he go to the roof? It doesn't make any sense because they weren't there. Like the GPS was accurate while Waze is on. The GPS was completely accurate. So we know exactly what time he got there. And then they're saying, oh, the dome light was on. And that's what they saw when he was running in the house when they first pulled up. It's like so crazy because it's one street away from that intersection. But I think he did a good job with this witness explaining that, you know, there's no way to get in the garage because that's like the new thing is like, oh, maybe he went in the garage. Because like, but that's not what Karen Reed ever said. She never said he went to the garage door. But unfortunately for the freaks, there's no door from the living room to the garage. So it's still not a thing.
Did the night continue after Julie came back in and spoke to her brother?
Yes.
Was the mood any different than it had been the entire night?
No.
Anything extraordinary or remarkable happen inside that house?
No.
So I pull at the foot of the driveway. It's snowing. John has no coat on. It's windy.
Did you ever see anybody get out of the SUV that was in front of the truck?
I did not.
Did you ever see anybody travel across the front yard to the doorway from that SUV?
Nope.
Did anybody ever walk by on the street, walk by the truck in front of you or behind your truck and walk on the driveway?
No.
So I drop him off. He goes up the driveway and approaches the side door. And as I see him approach the door, I look down at my phone.
After Julie went out and spoke to her brother and came back in the house, did anybody else come inside the house other than everybody who was already there celebrating Brian Jr.'s birthday?
No.
I saw the female that I saw beforehand, also still in the car.
Where did you see her?
In the driver's side.
Was there, at that point, any lights on inside the car?
There was, yes.
Which
the
light?
dome lights.
Do you know whether there was anybody else inside the SUV at that time other than the driver?
No.
Did you look in and study the interior of the SUV?
No.
Could there have been somebody else in the vehicle at that time?
There could have been, yes.
Could there have been someone standing outside the door?
Yes, it could have been.
When you saw the person, were you studying the person?
No.
Did you ever see any person get out of that SUV that was in front of you?
No, I did not, sir.
Did you ever see anybody, any man, ever cross the front yard towards that home?
No, I did not, sir.
Did you ever see any man ever enter or stand in that front door?
No, I did not, sir.
You certainly did not see a 6-foot-tall off-duty police officer in the SUV at any point on Fairview Road.
Correct.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
What the hell kind of question is that? Like, how would she know if he's an off-duty police officer? Like, Yannetti really is annoying. I thought he was benched for this entire trial, and he's like comes up, and that's like his best question. That's his best line of questioning. Like, he's completely benched. He's like, so he's basically just saying, trying to like iterate, like they only saw him in the car with her at the stop sign. But I mean, the jurors might not know that the house is only one house away from that intersection, right? That you wouldn't have lost sight of the car. So him saying you saw them at the intersection, but that's the only time you ever saw a man, an off-duty police officer in the car. I mean, I don't think it's going to work, but you can try.
You mentioned you walked in the side door near the garage. When you walk in the side door, you're in a living room, did you say?
Yeah, their family room, they call it, yeah.
Can you walk into the garage from the family room, or do you need to go back outside to get into the garage?
No, you would have to go back outside.
So there's no door in that family room that leads directly to the garage?
No. Julie and I walked out together down like the front stoop stairs, and I remember we were arm in arm. I was wearing shoes that didn't really have traction, so I was looking at my feet, so I didn't slip. And other than that, no real hazard.
Who's Caitlin Albert? You didn't offer up in that first initial response. You didn't offer up. You didn't say we're friends, did you?
We're not. That is true. And you asked me if I knew her, and I said yes. And you asked me if I'm friends with her, and I said I wouldn't say friends.
You wouldn't say friends.
Right.
Even as you sit here today, you would not say that you're friends with Caitlin Albert.
No.
You wouldn't say that you've been friends for years.
We've known each other for years.
That wasn't my question.
We've known each other for years, but we are not close friends. We don't have a relationship, just her one-on-one. There started to be a lot of harassment and things that, insinuations and stuff that started coming out online. I had said maybe once to them that I was concerned I was being harassed.
My question, Ms. McLaughlin, was before the information was disclosed, which was during the first proceeding. Objection.
Let's hear the question.
Before that information was disclosed during the first proceeding, in any of your interviews, Michael Proctor or anybody else from the DA's office, did you disclose, from the Massachusetts Police or anybody from the DA's office, did you disclose, did you volunteer that you had a relationship with Caitlin Albert before the first proceeding?
Yeah, I'm saying I told the DA about the harassment and the insinuations. That was before the first trial when I met with them.
How was the harassment and insinuations been disclosed at the first proceeding?
Because it's out there everywhere on the internet and has been.
Before the first proceeding, Ms. McLaughlin, before you ever testified. That's my question. Do you understand my question?
It's been going on since before the first proceeding.
The firefighter said that she said that too.
Who's the firefighter? What's her name? Do you know?
Katie something.
Katie McLaughlin. Who's her best friend?
He repeated, I hit him. I hit him. There was a woman next to us who told her to calm down, stop talking, calm down, you're hysterical. So she repeated, I hit him, and a police officer asked her, said, you what? And she repeated it again, I hit him. And the officer then signaled for his sergeant to come down to the scene or down to where he was.
I know I said I hit him, but did I really say it as many times as law enforcement's claiming I said it?
Is that 3 times?
See, that's the thing. It's like they're really going after this girl about the I hit him thing, and Karen literally admits that she says it. There would be no reason for her to make this up. It's insane. She obviously said it. She even says that Jen McCabe was trying to get her to like quiet down, stop saying that. You're just hysterical. And, you know, a lot of people probably did take it that way at the scene. So people weren't putting a lot into whatever she was saying. But I do think that it's strange that Saraf, like, because she gives a description, Saraf was there and he's like, you what? And he's like, oh, I had to get my sergeant down. Saraf never testified to hearing this. And so my thought on that is that he's lazy, doesn't do his job, and he knows that it should have been in the report and he didn't put it in there. So like he's afraid to all of a sudden start saying it now. Or maybe he doesn't remember. Maybe, I mean, there was a lot going on that day. It might be one of his first. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe Karen Reed's team reached out to him. I don't know. Or maybe he didn't fully hear what she was saying because it was so windy. But
4 times that you indicate she said I hit
him? 4 times.
You did not seek to or ask permission to look around any place other than where you happen to be standing, which is right inside that front door of the family room, sort of adjacent to the kitchen area, correct?
That is correct, yes, sir.
You didn't walk into any adjacent rooms?
No, sir. No, sir.
Seek or receive a search warrant?
No, I did not.
Okay. You didn't believe that it was necessary, in your mind, it was necessary to seek a search warrant to search the interior of that house?
That's absolutely correct. Everything was a possibility at that time.
And at that time, you had the information that you found, or Mr. O'Keefe's body was found on the lawn of a residence where there was alcohol, drinking, a party of some sort, or a gathering of some sort just hours earlier, correct?
That's correct, but the house had nothing to do with the incident.
At least to your mind.
That's correct, based on the evidence, yes, at that time. And I've actually executed warrants on police officers' houses in the past, including police officers I personally worked with and had to charge some of their children. So that absolutely would not factor into a reason.
What is inside that? What's depicted inside that bag?
The red solo cups with coagulated blood. I would have to twist circumstances to have the right to search Brian Albert's house. We had no reason, and there's been no reason since.
How about this? There's a dead guy on the lawn that looked like he potentially could have been in a physical altercation. How about that? Might that be of some concern to go inside the house and see if there was a struggle that started in the house?
There's still no evidence to go into the house.
You're the guy that's out on the lawn with no coat on. You think the coat might be inside the house? That might be a reasonable assumption.
My first thought was, I've been out late, I've been drinking, and he's in the general vicinity of where I last saw him. I mean, they talk about the left side of the property and the right as if it's, Hammersmith Farms. It's a postage stamp. It's 50 feet. So he's in the front yard to the left of the front door, and no one's coming out of the house. Jen's telling me nobody's seen him. So I'm thinking, Jesus, was I starting to pull away and I ran over his foot? Like, he's roughly where I left him. So yeah, when I found him, I was thinking, did I clip him somehow?
We were instructed that it was believed that the vehicle may have had a broken taillight, so we were looking for taillight pieces. We also were informed the victim in this incident was missing his shoe, so we're going to be looking for his sneaker as well. I believe it was 5:45, sir.
Do you remember what the first piece or item that you or the search team found was?
It was a piece of taillight. We found the sneaker, yes, sir.
A sneaker?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe where the sneaker was found?
The sneaker was flush up against the curb and it was inverted upside down. There was snow on and inside the sneaker. I believe in total we located maybe 6 or 7 pieces of taillight. It's a piece of clear taillight. It's got rigid edges, some indentations on it, distinctive markings.
Can you see the shovel marks near that piece?
Yes, they're directly behind it and off to the left. You can see the molding of the shovel.
Is that a closer picture of the same item?
Yes.
The imprint, does that give you a clearer view of the shovel you were speaking about?
Yes, it does, sir.
And if we could have 76A, please. Or is that the same item that you found that night?
Yes, sir. Another member of your unit was Trooper David DeChico, correct?
Yes.
Within your unit, did Trooper DeChico have a nickname for a first name?
Objection.
May we approach? What, if any, conversations did you have with Dr. Scorti-Bello about what your unit's theory was about what happened to John O'Keefe?
There was no theory.
Okay. You did not provide any theory to her, correct?
I did not provide a theory.
You learned at the autopsy from your observations that John O'Keefe had 2 black eyes and a swollen right eye, correct?
Yes.
You also learned that there was a small cut above his right eye, correct?
Yes.
And there was a small abrasion on the left side of his nose, correct?
I would have to reference the report for the exact words.
So the abrasion on his nose, I'm just thinking about like Karen saying that there was glass sticking out of his nose and she pulled it out and it started gushing. That wouldn't be an abrasion. So it's interesting. Like, why is she just making that up? Like, she makes up everything? Like, it's so strange.
To look for deletions of phone calls in that same date range. For clarity, there's more than one search that happens actually at 2:27. That timestamp isn't about active searches, it's about the time that a tab was either opened or moved to the background.
Did the search How Long to Die in the Cold have a timestamp on it?
There are actually multiple artifacts for How's Long to Die in Cold. Only one of them is associated with the 2:27 timestamp, but there are other instances of evidence of that was parsed by Celebrate. There's a really scary danger that an examiner who has not dug into the artifact and tested to see what it means may assume erroneously that 2:27 timestamp is the time that what is there is searched.
First search I did 3 months ago? What? It's just fucking retarded. It's fucking stupid.
So, am I reading this entry correct that you're stating what the data shows, that 80 steps were taken by the phone of whomever had the phone of Mr. O'Keefe? There were 80 steps taken at 12:21:10 a.m. on January 29, 2022 for a length of time of 3.2 minutes.
That is what the phone registered.
That's what the phone registered. Very well.
And I don't need some fake white Muslim lady, fucking Valley Girl Muslim. What could we talk about that for a second with the hair? I know we're not supposed to talk about the fucking. I did my best. I didn't make fun of her. I didn't ask where Jessica Hyde was on 9/11. I didn't ask if she worships a cow. I didn't do any of that shit. I was really mature about it. Okay?
My opinion is there was no deletion that occurred by the user because it is not something a user can delete.
Jen McCabe, it's me or her. Either I'm going down, Jen, or you are.
Karen, you or Jen McCabe, any reaction to that clip?
I'll have more of a reaction when you hear the whole thing in context. That was 7 seconds because there was a lot of context.
Well, tell us more about it.
What did you mean then?
Give him a little thought. If she starts to talk,
You'll see. Their case is almost over, so you'll see.
The opinion is that I can see that it's done by the device itself utilizing unified logs, that the system is deleting the 201st call every time a new call is received or outgoing.
The cops are all wrong.
Approximately 6:44 in the morning. I called Michael Proctor and told him to
reach out to Canton and follow up on the report of a male in the snowbank. We didn't receive it, but we were shown a broken cocktail glass, bottom of a broken cocktail glass. We were provided Mr. John O'Keefe's cell phone, and I was also shown a brown paper bag with 6 plastic Solo cups in it, containing what was reported to be blood in the snow. Yes, we had statements made by the defendant that she was questioning whether she had hit him. Following 3 interviews conducted in Canton with witnesses, we proceeded to the Good Samaritan Hospital because, based on the information I learned, I needed to put eyes on Mr. O'Keefe and his injuries. I need to see what exactly the witnesses were describing. We interviewed Miss Jen McCabe, Mr. Matt McCabe, and Mr. Brian Albert at the McCabe residence. Our theory had evolved to a vehicle strike based on the injuries, and I was suspecting that he was hit out of his shoes. Again, during the critical early hours of an investigation, timing is essential. We have to make sure we get to any and every location that could possibly have evidence and prevent that evidence from being destroyed, altered, or concealed. I was interested in the vehicle that she was operating that night. Michael Proctor took a call from Jen McCabe, and she further elaborated and provided information. We wanted to look at the rear right tail light based on the information provided.
From the 10 to 12 feet, did you notice anything remarkable about the SUV?
Yes, there was a large piece of red taillight cover missing from the vehicle. The defendant stated that she dropped Mr. O'Keefe off at 34 Fairview. She was asked if she saw him go in the house. She stated no, she did not see him go in the house. She was asked about the damage to her rear taillight, to which she stated, quote, "I don't know how I did it last night," end quote. Once she provided us with the fact that she dropped him off and never saw him go in the house, she was asked to provide details about her leaving. She stated that she made a 3-point turn and left. Stated she didn't see any injuries on him, but then she provided a statement saying that Mr. O'Keefe bumped his head 2 nights prior and asked her about it, which to me it seemed kind of strange, but...
Like, that is just so strange to me. Like, is she trying to say his head was already like that? Like, what is she, and how, I mean, she must have said the bump on his head, I'm guessing. It's just so weird. It's just such a weird thing to say. It's just so suspicious. I mean, if you're questioning somebody, the 3-point turn is weird. The, because it's like, you're on, I mean, maybe you do a 3-point turn, you don't know where you're going, but like in Canton, like all the roads kind of just go back to the main road, right? So I don't think people are going to be doing 3-point turns a lot, especially on a street like Fairview where it connects. So it's just weird. Like, oh, I did a 3-point turn and possibly ran him over by accident. And, you know, I don't know what happened to my taillight, and he already had a bump on his head. Like, it's all so weird.
I am going through his retarded client's phone. No nudes so far. I hate that man. I truly hate him.
As you sit here today, do you believe that this investigation, now I'm going to turn to this investigation, was conducted with professionalism, with competence, at the highest level of integrity?
This investigation was conducted professionally, with integrity, and all the evidence collected, all the statements collected pointed in one direction. There was no bias influence on the evidence, on the information that was collected, or
which direction the investigation pointed naturally.
Is there a reason that you want to try to distance yourself from naming Michael Proctor as the lead investigator in the case? Is there some reason?
I am not trying to distance myself. All I'm saying is the term that I use is the case officer. We're simply case managers. There's no leading investigation in any direction.
Where exactly did you see it? Did you see it at your house or did you see it at Meadows?
I saw it at both places. So when we left the hospital, Karen wanted to see the children. And so my son drove us to Meadows. I got out of the car, I saw it. And then when I had a cup of coffee and left there, we cleaned off the back and I saw it as right here. And so I know what I saw.
So there was still red left?
Oh, absolutely. I would not have driven that car, all right, in the blizzard conditions that were present that morning.
I did.
You saw him going.
I saw John go in the house.
Can you describe him going to the house? Which door and how and when?
No, I have, though, and I'm sure the prosecution will play it.
She's nuts. She's nuts. She's nuts. She's nuts. I mean, I just, you know, all the texts were in there. I mean, the text messages, I don't know why the defense played it either. I don't understand, like, you know, I don't think it makes her look good, but I guess they really need to muddy the water. I mean, that's what they're doing. If you look at Casey Anthony, that was all about muddying the water because they blamed the father. All of a sudden, like out of nowhere, nobody ever heard this before until their opening statement that, oh, the father was like found her in the pool drowned and he was going to take care of the body. And then Casey just went out partying for a month and didn't tell anybody else. And it was a secret. And the father was the first witness. And he's like, I've never heard that story before. But I mean, I think that really puts something in the minds of the jurors, right? And then they come up with like the PI. They had their PI. Casey and the lawyer knew where the body was, and they had a private investigator trying to get him on camera looking for the body, and they played that in court. So the PI sued them after the trial. I mean, it's just muddying the water. It's like throwing in all this, as much trash as you can to confuse the jurors and to make them confused. And I think that's kind of what they did in the first trial. And Hank's trying to limit it, and that's why they're trying to bring in this Higgins stuff, because now all of a sudden it's like, oh, Higgins was like trying to fight him in the bar, even though there's never been any testimony about anyone not getting along in the bar. And Karen's never said anywhere that that Higgins was a factor at all. Karen said stuff about Jen McCabe, it's me or you. She said stuff about Colin and Brian Albert when she was being arrested. So like, the jury is going to see all those clips. I mean, Hank maybe wasn't going to bring them in, but you know, he probably was thinking about which clips to bring in, like which ones are going to, because he doesn't want to confuse the jury either and start having her pointing to all these different people. But maybe it's better because if they have like a streamlined thing towards Higgins, maybe it's better to bring in all these other people because it is so ridiculous. But I don't know, because I think is the jury going to hear about Higgins destroying his phone on the base? I know they objected to it, but they already heard it. So it's going to be, you know, I think that they're going to try to tie it into Sandra Birchmore somehow, because they're saying, you know, in the Sandra Birchmore case, they just look the other way, right? I mean, we don't know all the details yet, because we haven't seen everything. But from what we can opine, no one else has been charged except for Matthew Farwell, but you can kind of, you know, think that maybe, who knows if anybody, maybe people really didn't know anything, but people just didn't pursue a suspect. And I think that's what they're going for. They're going to say, oh, Higgins is definitely someone that they should have looked at. You know, they saw this one part of his phone and then he destroys his phone, and, you know, we don't know what time he left. He was at the Sally, like he had access to the Sally port. He, you know, he should have been looked at, basically. But the thing is, the feds did look at him. So you know, can they bring that in? I don't know. What was Higgins doing in the bar, motioning? I feel like he was just like, come on, guys, let's go to the house. I mean, from my perspective, I know that people get loud and obnoxious at the end of the night, but I don't feel like he was acting like he wanted to fight John O'Keefe at all. Like, him and John O'Keefe were independent friends, independent of Brian Albert. Like, I think Higgins and John O'Keefe were closer friends than John O'Keefe and Brian Albert. So I just think, you know, it's a weird thing. Karen put a wedge between people. She was going to try to weaponize him against John O'Keefe. I think that's very clear. I mean, the jury doesn't know what Brian Higgins looks like, but I think if they did, then they would come to that conclusion too. Because he's not someone that you're going to just be like so horny and like so turned on that you're like, hey, you're hot. Like, you should stay over tonight. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's definitely like a manipulation thing. Like, he didn't even believe it. He's like, what do you mean? Why are you messing with me? Like, so it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who else they're going to call from the witnesses. I think that Hank is trying not to muddy the water and bringing in witnesses that they can then talk about all this other crap. Oh, did you sell your house? Did you do this? Did you do that? You got rid of the dog. I mean, they're talking about the dog now. But I mean, that is going to, the jury's like, why the hell are we talking about a dog, right? I don't know. Has the jury seen his injuries yet? I'm not sure if they have. I know they wanted to bring it up in opening. I can't remember if they allowed it. I can't remember if I saw it. So for them to like not even know why they're bringing up a dog, it's going to be weird. Oh, that's so annoying. The echoing on TikTok. I don't know why it does that. I don't know how to fix it. But I'm trying to like stream. So StreamYard doesn't do TikTok. So I have to like try to do it on my phone. I'm trying to just broadcast it there too. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna now bring Higgins. You know, it's risky. But if they already bring out everything about Higgins, I feel like it might be better to bring him in, because I don't think he's. You know, that's the thing that like. I think that he can bring up the Signal app. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I would think that he can. Maybe. I hope. I mean, that's the thing too. It's like, if you think about this case, and so the Idaho 4, that's coming to trial soon. You know, 4 kids were like stabbed in their beds, and they have the guy, he's going to trial. There was just a Dateline episode a few nights ago, and it doesn't sound like they have a lot, unless they, you know, the show Dateline didn't have all the information, but it's a little nerve-wracking because the amount of evidence that's in the Karen Reed case, and people just don't want to believe any of the evidence and just want to challenge the police officers or whatever. There's so much more evidence, like from what I can see in this case than in that case. And the stuff that they brought up on the Dateline episode was like, oh, he had some Google searches. He Googled his own name 13 times. He was looking at corn. He was looking at like, how can a police detain you, or how long does it take, something along those lines, which I'm like, that's not even that big of a question. You know, he could have been watching a video and like got that idea. He's a criminology major. He could have been reading a book and like, you know, just Googled something to get more information about it. So to me, it doesn't sound like there's a lot of information there. However, if Judge Bev was the judge in that case, and she just allowed everyone's cell phones, all the investigators' cell phones to be brought in, all of the witnesses' cell phone texts and everything to be brought in, the guy would get off easily, because they're going to see every text message that every student that had beef with another student. They can blame those people. The investigator, they can be like, oh, there's bias. You know, it's just, Karen Reed is the most privileged murder defendant I've ever seen. And it's like, that's the only reason that she has a chance, is because she has gotten all this privilege of getting everyone's cell phone records and everything. And I was looking, so from my perspective, and I've been having a lot of conversations with free Karen Reed people, the things that you have to believe, at 5 a.m., we see her car, the taillight is out. So I ask them all the time, I'm like, all right, well, if they can prove to you that, the bumpers line up and there's no way that taillight could have been broken, will that change your mind? Because then there's no explanation to what happened to her car. And then they're like, they don't like that. And then they're like, oh, well, the cover to the dog and the house and the bloody knuckles. And it's like, they're in this like cult of propaganda and they don't want to actually solve the crime. And it's like, it's very obnoxious. It's like, what? There's no explanation of what happened to her car, right? And so, whatever, we know it's banged up. We know the lights are out. So it's pretty damaged. She's on Gretchen Voss saying she was pulling pieces out, right? So what is the explanation? Because, I mean, I don't even need an accident reconstruction. They will have it in this trial, but I don't even need it. Like, I'm not an idiot. I know that two cars are going to hit bumpers. At most, if the taillight made contact, it would crack the taillight, but the lights will not go out. The lights will not be knocked out, and the impact to that taillight is in the center, and it's coming from above. You can see it. So it's like, and there's a dent on the tailgate. So it's like, what happened to her car? The car was not damaged. What? Jesus Christ. I mean, I just don't even understand, like, if there's this many dumb people running around, like, we will just have killers running around loose everywhere. This is 5 a.m. So what damaged the middle of her taillight, right? Because it's the center. It's not the edge. It's not any part that could have touched the other car. So what exactly, what happened to it? And so then, they won't really accept this fact at all. Like, I don't even know where their brain goes or what they think about, but it's like, it's just, they pretend that this didn't happen, or they pretend that it possibly could have happened on her bumping his car. And it's like, okay, so you just want to argue for a killer for no reason. I mean, what the hell? What in the hell? And then if I look at the taillight, you can see that the impact is like to this rectangle. And this is the piece that they were all saying that the piece was missing, I think, because I think it looked like it went deeper. Whereas a lot of it does have like some place like where the snow would fall. But I think that rectangle is where they're like, that's the piece that was missing, right? No red pieces, but that was the piece that was missing. And that's where there was like a piece of metal sticking out, or the housing was sticking out. So that's the part where the lights are out when she's driving out of the driveway. That meant middle center piece that could not have hit his car. And I mean, they're going to prove it. They're going to have an accident reconstruction. And so at that point, like, do you still think Proctor planted the pieces? Because I mean, her car is damaged. And how did he get those pieces? Like, these pieces, I think, in the rectangle were never found, right? But that's the main part of the damage that we see. But that could not have happened from tapping that car. If anything, the edge of the taillight would be damaged from tapping the car. But that's not where the lights are out. That's not where the damage is. The damage is in the middle. So that's the problem. And now if we think about Proctor, so Proctor got every text message for his sister, everything back in history. This is painful to watch. These aren't facts. Like, I know that you hate facts because you want to believe in a fantasy, but you need to grow up. I hope you're not an adult because you have problems if you can't process information. But like, this is the main crux of it. Like, you can think about the conspiracy and all this other crap, but her taillight is damaged at 5 a.m. What did that to her car? And, that's the main question. And then how did those taillight pieces, which are gone, and at 8 a.m. we see it, they're gone. So how could those be planted if they are already gone? And then this is his car at 5 a.m. And so, like, with these facts in place, there's no snow disturbed anywhere. The only snow is on the bottom right. That's where the car touched. On the bumper, the snow is disturbed. None of the snow at the taillight level is disturbed. So what do they think? What do they think? It's just, they're not thinking. It's like they want this to be true so bad that they're going to simp for a killer. It's so gross. It really is like sick. This is how Lizzie Borden got off. She's also from Fall River with no ass too. And I mean, what else could it be? Like, what else is the answer, right? Like, there is no other answer. Now, if we think about Proctor, so this is the car, and if you look at, there's not just a dent on her tailgate, there's also scratches on the window. So, like, to me, a body cannot scratch the window. To me, that is the glass hitting the back of the car. So she heard the glass smash across the back of her car. And this scrape down the side, and one of the things that people always say, it's like 47 pieces. It didn't just explode into 47 pieces. No, it didn't. It didn't explode. His elbow, I think his elbow went through that rectangle piece in his sweater. And normally the pieces would have just been pushed in. If she just hit a car, the pieces would have just pushed in. But he was wearing a sweater, and we saw all the snags and tangles in his sweater. And that is why all the pieces came out with him. And then some of them were still in his sweater as he scraped along the side of the car because his body was spun. And, there's no other explanation for this damage to our vehicle. And now if we go back to Proctor, but wasn't she listening to U2 with or without you? Right. That's the thing too. She says she was blasting U2. She says that so she can kind of explain why she might not have heard something. And she said the reason that she knows this is because when she turned her car on in the morning, it was still blasting. But we know that's a lie because we hear the I hate you voicemail. And I think she's still in the car. She's not in the garage yet. Maybe she was walking into the house when she called. I mean, maybe that could be it. But I don't think her car was pulled into the garage yet. I think the ring cam didn't register an activity until 12:41, so she was still out there. And then, now let's think about Proctor. So Proctor, he knows Julie and Chris Albert, and everyone got all of his voicemails and messages. So when did Proctor decide he's going to risk his life and his career to frame Karen Reed? Like when? Like, we know the conversations he had. So let's look at the conversation that he had. See if I have it. I know I have it. I'm just going to see if I need to. So this is the conversation that he had with his sister at around 3:00. Is this when he decided that he's...
It's off. The Canton thing is a homicide. I respond. This is at 3 in the afternoon on the 29th. Don't say a word to anyone. She said, of course not. I respond, in the very least, it's suspicious.
So she asked if the Canton thing is a homicide. He says, in the very least, it's suspicious. And so is this when he decided, oh, we're close friends with them? Is this the time when he decided, oh, we are so close friends with whoever did it? Because, like, how would he know at this point? With whoever did it, we're just going to make sure this Karen Reed lady pays for it, right?
Responds, this is your livelihood. And then I would never miss with that. 3:07, I respond, Julie and Chris were at the bar with the victim and girlfriend. Got to interview them.
So Julie and Chris were at the bar with the victim and the girlfriend. There's no messages that come back to him that are like, oh, by the way, you got to frame him, Proctor. There's no calls that come in. He hasn't even talked to Julie and Chris, and those are the people that he knows from the Albert family. He hasn't even talked to them. So when did he get the idea that he should frame her? It just does not make any sense at all. And that's why I'm like, the jury in the first trial did not believe it. So it's like, is it, so his personal text messages aren't coming in, but the work ones that Yuri is on the text chain have come in so far. But I mean, to me, it's like, I know then you have to listen to all the text messages if you bring him in, but at the same time, it's like, the jury's going to be like, there's no indication that he was like, it's just casual conversations with the family.
I'd like to direct your attention to page 2672.
I was going to say something else.
My sister's son.
I think that's the only stuff from that day. So that's all he knows is Julie and Chris were at the bar with Karen and John at this point. And so it's at 3:00. So it's right before he drives to Dighton. So he gets to Dighton. Karen Reed says, he already had a bump in his head. I did a 3-point turn, whatever. They seized the car. So there was nothing else said that would make him even think anything about Julie and Chris. Those are the only people that he knew, and not even from his personal relationship, from his relationship, his sister's relationship, friendship with Julie and Chris, with Julie Albert's sister. So it's absolutely ridiculous to even like think that there would even be a motivation to do anything. He doesn't even know if it's a homicide at this point. He just says it's suspicious. So how would he start getting the wheels turning? Like, I need to, push the evidence in a certain way, right? They found those taillight pieces there. Her car was damaged at 5 a.m. Like, it's as simple as that. I think he's going to try to keep Yuri in the hot seat for as long as possible. I mean, I don't know what else they're going to go through. And I think the reason is because they don't really know who Hank is going to call. That's why Jen McCabe read all of Matt McCabe's text messages, because they were like worried, like if we don't have her read them, we might not be able to get them in at all, because the defense isn't going to call Matt McCabe, right? So she could only talk about the ones that she was on the text chain for. And so Yuri could be, I mean, it would have been better. I don't think that it would be possible if they didn't call Yuri either, but because then nobody on that text chain could be called. I don't think that's possible though. But I remember like Tully in the first trial was a very strong witness. They're probably, they're going to go after every single witness. That's what this is. It's a witch hunt, and it's ridiculous because her car is banged up on 5 a.m. before anyone touches it. The taillight pieces were found. There was no chance of Proctor to plant anything. There is no logical motivation for him to plant anything. He does not even know that it's a homicide at this point. So all he knows is it's a suspicious death. That's all he knows. So there was no reason for anything else to happen. Her taillight pieces are gone, and then they're found. Like, there's no dog DNA. The dog's not a thing. Nobody has ever said those are dog bites or scratches. Their own expert could not point out a dog bite. It's a collection of wounds, and that's where they get away with it. So when I first saw that picture, when they held it up in court, it does look like, I thought, dog attack, whatever. But when you look closely at it, it's abrasions. There's no punctures. There's no lacerations. It's very surface level wounds. You can see that they're like friction injuries. And not only that, but they're all on like one side of the arm. Like a dog bite is going to wrap around because you need to bite, right? It's not just all going to be like flush up inside, like one side of the arm. It's so dumb. It's just like, and it's like embarrassing that they're getting these experts to come and say this stuff that's so obviously false. I mean, if Rich Green comes back, what's he going to say? Yeah, dog bite and hold. Yeah, bite and hold with no bottom jaw. I can't wait for the science to show that John was hit by our vehicle. I mean, any accident like this, I feel like it's kind of I don't know. Like from my perspective, I understand. I'm not an idiot. Like I understand that like every accident's gonna look different. So like the staircase is a good show about injuries that you don't know what the hell they're gonna look like. You know, they had some experts arguing that yeah, she fell down the stairs and like hit her head, or could have stood up and slipped and fell back again, and then someone arguing that she was bludgeoned to death. And it's like, you know, both sides argue it pretty well. And from my perspective, I'm like, it could be either one. Like, I don't really know. And, you know, I wouldn't want to be on a jury, like, choosing that. But in this case, you don't have to have just the injuries. In this case, you literally have a broken car and pieces of a broken car on a body. Like, it's so frustrating. It's like, if your loved one was found on the side of the road with pieces of a car on them, and then they found the car with that matching damage, would you be like, did you search other houses in the neighborhood? Did you find other suspects? It's like so unbelievable. I know that statement is pretty wild. She's cracked. She's cracked. Oh, this is funny.
To the kitchen island and says to me, I think he looks like he got hit by a car. He looks like he got hit by a car. I'm like, wait a minute. Were you both looking at the same body?
His mother, how dare that bitch? Her son just died. She looks over me and says, it looks like he got hit by a car. I mean, he was, you know, by the road and there was taillight pieces and he was injured. Like, how dare her for thinking he got hit by a car, considering that's exactly what the police are thinking right now, too. And they're kind of treating it like a hit and run. And I happen to be the vehicle with a broken taillight. How dare her think that?
And how oblivious to the emotional reality of this victim's family. And then to present it in such a fashion on national TV. That's one thing that's been a common theme, is her aloofness, her callousness. And those things are going to be strikes against her.
I mean, there's so many grifters on the internet. It's like, it really is like disturbing how many people are just kind of grifting. I mean, I think more and more people are waking up, but more and more people are also falling into the cult. So it's like, so many people want the cult. They just want the conspiracy. That's what they want. They don't care about the truth. And it's, you know, it's disturbing because I think about the Idaho 4 case. I'm like, if people are, I feel like the public opinion, people are already like convicting him basically with like no evidence. We don't know what the evidence is. They might have a lot. We don't really know. But, you know, if they hold him to the same standards as the Karen Reed case, he's going to get off. You know, and if they gave everyone cell phone data so that they can create, like, muddy the water and, like, you know, point the finger at all the witnesses and, like, the college kids and the relationships, he's going to get off. I mean, that is why we have rights in this country and, like, restrictions, and, like, the judge is the gatekeeper. But the gate's wide open in the Karen Reed case. The gate is in her favor. And people that, like, say that judge is biased, it blows my mind, because that judge is such a defense-friendly judge. And they have gotten away with so much. And they've trashed all the witnesses. They've gotten everyone's personal cell phones while her own team uses the Signal app. You know, if Higgins just used the Signal app, if Michael Proctor just used the Signal app, they would have never had a problem. If they could only be as shady as Karen Reed's defense team, who gets away with everything, they wouldn't have a problem. If only they just used the Signal app, nobody, you know, none of this would have happened. It's just so unbelievable. Oh, and this one is a little.
Another red herring because she was already connected to Wi-Fi at 12.
I forget what this is about. I think it's about the ring
Talk about
cam.
the library video. If that is the only minutes that are missing, then yes, that's strange, but I don't know. I don't even think that would be the time that she was passing.
It was. It wasn't. The library footage was another red herring because she was already connected to Wi-Fi at 12:36. The library footage that was missing was 12:37 to 12:39. Oh!
Got her at home on the ring camera footage at 12:41. It's undeniable that she went by there at that
They don't
exact
have her on the ring camera footage. She deleted that.
No, they have that. She did not delete anything. What is your evidence that she deleted ring camera footage?
It says it in the affidavit.
You believe she had access to it. What leads you to believe?
I believe the kids had mentioned it before. Kaylee and Patrick.
Did you delete the ring video?
I wouldn't know how, and I would have no access, and that'll come out on
And where was it that the defendant and her father went?
Upstairs into the bedroom.
And if you know, about how long were they in the upstairs area of the house?
I would say 10 to 15 minutes.
Mr. Reed, when you were upstairs with your kids, did you delete any ring video?
Of course not. I wouldn't know how. Of course not.
So you're telling me neither one of these Bentley professors know how to delete a ring video? Are you kidding me?
It doesn't say that in the affidavit.
They asked the kids who has access to the ring cam because the ring cam's missing, and they said Karen does for the main computer.
And it told me that she had to remember the bad times, which struck me as an odd comment to say.
They left. Like I said, they were probably there for 30 minutes. They got in their cars and drove back to Dayton, Massachusetts.
She said, I don't think I'm ever going to see you guys again. And I said, of course you will. We're friends.
We've lost 3 years of our lives at a time in my life that, in golfing terms, I'm on the back nine. Some would say I can see the clubhouse.
So while the O'Keefe family is crying because of the loss of their loved one, Mr. Reed says his golf days have been taken away. Are you kidding me?
I hear Karen Reed yell, Peg, is he dead? Is he dead, Peg? Peg, is he dead?
It's impossible for me to have any sympathy.
Whatever personality disorder Karen Reed has, it runs in the family.
So the ring cam comment I find especially, it's coached. Like they both say the same exact thing. I wouldn't know how. Like that's not even a normal answer because all you do is click on the video and click delete. And they both were college professors during COVID. They both taught online classes. They know how to freaking delete a video. I mean, god damn. It's just such a stupid thing to say, but they obviously were coached to say that. I wouldn't know how. What do you mean you wouldn't know how? It's just like deleting a video anywhere. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. I mean, so to me, they do seem a little nervous about it, though. Like, why wouldn't you just say, of course, no. I wouldn't, I mean, they seem guilty of it, like, to me, from my perspective, because I would just be like, oh, no, somebody else did, or they never accused anyone else of deleting it in the beginning. Like, when I was talking to Turtle Boy, he pretended like nothing was deleted. He pretended that the ring camera was still there. So, you know, it's really strange that all of a sudden, like now, years later, 3 years later, now they're saying, oh, someone else might have deleted it. They didn't really say that, though, either. So it does seem like they're nervous. Whatever other documentation they have, I don't think it's going to pinpoint when it was deleted or from where. But it might give just some general information to say that, you know, the video did exist and someone did delete it. Maybe they have a time frame. Like, I don't know. But, oh yeah, that's true. The Reeds do have a ring cam. I think it might be alarm.com. But it's not complex. It's the same way that you delete a video everywhere. It's just the dumbest thing. And so I think that from the last trial, it said like no one had accessed the Ring app or whatever. But if it was already logged in on his computer and on his phone, Nobody has to access it to delete it. It would just be logged in. And, you know, that's potentially what happened. She might have already been logged in, though, too. We don't know. We don't know if she already had a login. I feel like she probably did. She was saying, like, to Higgins, like, I know where all the cameras are. I forgot about that text. I guess that probably was read the other day. I wish they could retrieve the ring footage. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened with that. It does seem like the ball was dropped, like they waited too long. I have one that's not hooked up. I don't love the Ring camera. I don't like maintaining it. I really don't like getting notifications. But yes, I do have one technically. I just think that I don't know what the deal is. Like, I do feel like, you know, most government jobs, there's a lot going on, a lot of like things flying around and things slip through the cracks. And I feel like that's the Sally Port video is a good example of that. I think, you know, taking a long time to get discovery is a good example because you're relying on other people that have to do their jobs before you can do yours. And I can see that happening, but I mean, it just sucks that I don't know if they can retrieve it. Like, I looked online and it says once you delete a Ring video, there's no like database, so it's just gone. But like, use common sense. Like, someone deleted all of the Ring videos except for her alibi one where she hits his car. Like, no, come on. I just wonder what she was doing. I want to hear about her phone. Like, what was she doing all night? I know that in opening it said like from her health data, they think she settled down for like an hour and a half or something, or 2 hours. So she might have slept. Or at least she didn't have her phone. I don't know. I doubt that she slept. She could have, though. And then the haze was lifted when she woke up. Yeah, no, I didn't have access. Not I didn't have access, but I don't know how. It is sus. Even saying I didn't have access, I feel like is a little weird. Because it's kind of using the words from, you know, nobody accessed it. Nobody logged in and accessed it. But it means that if you had existing access, you could be in there. And I feel like she probably did have it. She probably did have the app on her phone. And like, so that it didn't register someone new logging in, but it was probably already there. Maybe. I don't know. But like, everyone said that he used to talk to them through the Ring app. So he was very active on the Ring app, which tells me like that she probably knew how to like mess with it or do things. She knew he was watching. So he probably like knew when she was, you know. Yuri's strategy on the stand. I don't know how it's coming off to jurors. Like, I understand that he's being kind of combative and petty. And to me, I kind of find it amusing because I think AJ is a snake. I don't know how it's coming off to jurors, but I just don't know what you're going to get. Are you going to get, you know, he's going to go after him for every report, but Yuri's not making it easy for him. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good strategy or not, how it comes off. I think Hank Brennan has to give him some time to redeem himself because I do think the jurors are probably annoyed by it. I think they're probably annoyed by Alan Jackson too. So I think they're probably annoyed by both of them. I just don't know if any detective would stand up to this kind of scrutiny well. I don't really know what your options are. It's either you allow everything and let him talk you into things like Trooper Paul, and then you end up saying stuff or letting them put words in your mouth like, oh yeah, he flew 30 feet through the air, you know, and that's what he's trying to battle against. That's why he is being careful with all the words that he accepts. Because that's what AJ does. I mean, he did it to Ryan Nagel saying, oh, so you saw the seat was empty, which He never said that before. I don't think he looked into the car. He probably just took a glimpse in the car. But he will talk people into saying things. I mean, we see it all the time in trials. And, you know, Lucky Loughran, I think he prepped him before, but, you know, they walk them right into saying certain things. And that's like a good cross-examination. That's what you want to do. You want to explore all the possibilities. You want to say, well, is it possible that this happened? Or is it possible that you didn't see this? You know? And that's just what the nature of the cross-examination is. But some people will fight back and be like, no, it's definitely not possible. I know I didn't see anyone go in the house. Something to that degree. But some people just will accept whatever they're giving just to be agreeable. And that's kind of like, that's the difference. You don't want someone that's agreeable. Like if your job is a detective and you are going to be testifying and be cross-examined, you cannot be just agreeable. Like it's just never going to work. Like all of your cases are going to go down the drain. But I think like having an attitude, I don't think Yuri really has an attitude though. All the time. I think he does a little bit. He's a little bit cocky. But so is AJ. So I just feel like it's, you know, it's a wash. It is a crime to destroy evidence. What are the chances that multiple people are all raging at John on the same night she was? Oh, chances are nil. I mean, I just think that, you know, Sarah Levinson's testimony, she was in the house. I believe everything she says. Like, I think she's very credible. She has no skin in the game, no reason to lie, no reason for anything. And she was very calm, very direct. She held up well to cross-examination. She said what she said, and that's it. End of story. And, you know, that's probably why they chose her out of all the people in the house. Because she didn't even see the car outside, but she was one that, you know, didn't have relationships to people in the house. And I think that's the thing. Like, they know these certain people, like Katie McLaughlin has the relationship, so she's going to get attacked. You know, Trooper Proctor was the one that was always getting attacked the first trial, but now they shifted to Yuri because Trooper Proctor is not going to be there. But like Brian Albert, if they called Brian Albert Jr., if they called him, then it would be like, then they could bring in like other stuff. I don't even know. Did they even ask Sarah Levinson about Higgins? I can't remember. Because I wonder if she would even notice if he was there or not. Or if she did notice he was there or not. Because that wouldn't be someone that she knows necessarily. I don't know though. I'll have to look at that and see. I don't remember her testifying anything about Higgins. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that Higgins texts are good for her at all. But I think that they're going to try to create this, they're trying to muddy the waters. Because right now the case is too clean. You know, the Jen McCabe stuff, even like the House Long to Die in Cold, even though I feel like the jury's going to believe the experts, it still is muddying the water a little bit. It's muddying Jen McCabe a little bit, but you can't take Jen McCabe out. Like, she has to be there. She's there. Carrie Roberts has to be there. And they try to muddy her down a little bit too. But like, you know, Sarah Levinson, I think, is clean. The kids in the truck are clean. Once you start bringing in Albert and Higgins, and you have deleting phones and selling houses and dogs and all that crap, and it's like, then you go down that path. And I think that's why Hank didn't even want to bring in the Aruba incident, because is that muddying it down? Is it minimizing what happened? You know, I do think that it shows a habit of rage, but maybe like just her voicemails are enough to prove that she was in a rage. Does it need to show that she had rages a month before about something similar? I don't know. I don't think so. We don't even need to know what she was raging about. We just know that she was in a rage. That's the part that gets her. That's the part that makes it M2. Because if, the woman, Lori Phillips, very similar circumstances. She hit her boyfriend in the snow. Why did they not call Ricky D'Antano to the stand? They didn't call a lot of people to the stand. So I don't know was his testimony different? I feel like he wasn't even paying attention. I don't remember what his testimony was. He didn't see anyone in the car though, either. So I don't think his testimony matters. I mean, they could call him. Yes, there were notifications on the phone. I think Jessica Hyde testified to that. There were notifications on his phone that, there was ring activity. Richie the plumber. I mean, that whole thing seems like a manipulation too. The plumber's going to come over and do me for free. Yes, Ricky was the driver. He was sober, but he had no relation to the people in the house. Just like they didn't call Julie Nagel yet. Maybe they're going to call her. I don't know. But they didn't call a lot of people in the house either. Colin Albert, all those people. There's no reason. Ricky is one of the kids. He was the driver of the truck that Ryan Nagel and Heather Maxon were in. I feel like he didn't know though. Like, I remember last time he testified to some weird stuff. Like, I think he said the car, I don't remember. I just feel like his testimony was different than the other ones. Like, I think they might have waited too long to question him because he did not have, consistent testimony with them. But I mean, I just feel like that's the thing. That's how you know people are telling the truth. Because if they were like conspiring, then they'd all have the same exact testimony, right? They'd all be saying like the car did this, the car was like right in front of us the whole time, which I think it had to have been if they were at the intersection together. It's only one house away. The jury might not know that though. So there's really no chance to lose sight of the car. I'm trying to see if I have. So that's that one. That's that one. I don't know what this is. I might pause it if it's something.
Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, doo-dah day.
Yep, exactly. Thank you for their super sticker, kitties. 1993. 1993. That's a young one. That's a youngin'. There's a lot of, I feel like a lot of people that follow this case are older, like 40, maybe like mid 30s plus. But there's a lot of like elderly that follow this case. I wonder if being a younger juror will make a difference how they deliberate. I mean, I think it will. I mean, I think Ronnie, the juror, I don't know how old he is, but he seems kind of young to me. Like he's probably 30s, right? The stuff he says is just so, like he's always on the Canton Confidential show. And I'm just like, my God, this guy is so dumb. It's mind boggling the stuff that he says. And he doesn't really even make sense. Like he'll be like, oh yes, this testimony, Brian Higgins and Karen Reed, would have made a difference to me as a juror. And then they try to ask him for like clarification, like, oh, and he can't even give an answer. So I'm like he doesn't even know what he thinks. Like, it's so weird. He's just like, I don't know what would the difference make. I mean, a lot of that was in the first trial. So it's like, did he even notice that she now has colon cancer? Does he even notice that, like, I don't know what, oh, they sleep, they have separate bedrooms? Like, I don't know if that's even true. I would like that clarified, because I just think that's weird. Because Paul O'Keefe is saying, like, they went upstairs in the bedroom. You know, they didn't say in Karen's bedroom. So I think that's not true. And she's just saying that to Higgins to, like, make him think that it's okay to bone her. Why are all the lawyers on YouTube so weird? Because they're grifting. They're grifting, and they are trying to entertain a cult of weird people that want her to get away with it. He's dumb as rocks. I lucked out with that one. I mean, his affidavit was the one that said, because it was hypothermia, he didn't think it was Karen's fault. Like, that's just so... I mean, that interpretation... So Lori Phillips is another very similar case to this. It happened in Winona, Minnesota. I think it happened in, like, 2020, but, like, it didn't get tried until, like, last year, I think, 2024. And the circumstances were her and the husband were out drinking. They went back to the house. They were fighting. Well, this is her story, so we don't really know if it's true. But they were fighting, and she was like, I'm not staying in the house with you or whatever after the bars. And she backed out of the driveway and left and was going to go stay in a hotel, but then she never stayed in a hotel. And, you know, she ended up coming back to the house and sleeping, according to her, sleeping on the couch for a few hours. And she got sober and went up to his room, and he wasn't there. And then she went out and found him in the driveway, frozen to the ground. And I don't think it was snowing, but I just think it was freezing cold out. Or it might have been slightly snowing. It wasn't a blizzard or anything, but it was just like, you know, Minnesota freezing. And, you know, she called 911. She was super hysterical. So, you know, her story... I don't know what her defense really was. Her defense, she said she didn't hit him. Like, when she testified, she was like, I never hit him. And, you know, his clothing and stuff was found underneath the car. So, like, she definitely, I mean, in my opinion, she definitely hit him. So I don't know what the jurors found her not guilty. So I don't know what their explanation was, really. Like, if they were like, oh, because she was trying to get away, but she still hit him, from my perspective. Like, what are they, was that not guilty to say she didn't hit him, or are they saying it's just not her fault? And, like, that's what I got from what Ronnie or whoever wrote those affidavits for Karen Reed were saying, something similar, where, you know, it might have happened, but they don't think it should be on her. Like, what do you mean? She's driving drunk. You know, right there, that's something, right? And someone got hit with the car, and even if they were fighting or whatever, you know, that's a different defense. Then you say, like, it was self-defense or something. But she was just saying, I didn't hit him with the car. And I would have, you would, I mean, maybe you would have known, maybe not. But, like, when it's, like, frozen solid ground and everything crunches, it's, I think, yeah, it could be hard to tell. And she could have been drunk. But, like, in that case, as soon as the verdict was read, the guy's brother came out and he was like, she tried to run over her last boyfriend too, and that couldn't come into the trial because they wouldn't let it in. And she lied about a lot of things, because I think on her phone she was, like, texting people like, oh, there's abuse or something, but it seems like kind of fake. So it's very hard to tell. But, like, in that case, the jury unanimously decided she should get away with it. You know, whether they... I mean, I don't think there's a way they could believe she didn't hit him. but they just believed that it was justified or it was jury nullification. I don't understand. But I mean, that's probably a better route to go than this conspiracy shit, because that jury literally went in that direction on their own. So I don't know why Karen Reed's team is still trying to push this conspiracy nonsense. I mean, I guess we don't know why the jury voted that way in that trial. Lori Phillips, it was in Winona, Minnesota. But she did testify, and like a big part of her testifying was her reading her texts and recounting exactly what she did when she like drove out of there. So Karen Reed should testify. Maybe she'll get away with it. She didn't have a series of voicemails saying, "I hate you," and all that nonsense. It's just so far-fetched for anything else to be possible because of where he was found. He didn't take any more steps. His phone battery was getting colder and colder. She knew where he was. She's calling people saying he's dead, hit with a plow. Like, there's just so much evidence. You know, the car's all banged up. His hair and his DNA is in the taillight housing. There's just so much evidence. And then, you know, her own statements, and then her changing narrative and her lack of remorse, and then harassing the witnesses, and just everything about it just screams like she's guilty. It's a very simple case. And it's just shocking that people want to believe the impossible. I mean, it really is impossible. And it's not even feasible. It's not feasible that, you know, because he only took, 36 steps. So that would mean, if you believe he went in the house, he got out of a car at 12:31, walked into the house, and that's it. Like, he would have had to cut across the lawn, but he was a nevercracker that, you know, put up a fence because he didn't like people cutting across his lawn. So he goes across the lawn to a house that he's never been to before, walks in the door, and immediately gets attacked. And immediately someone takes his phone and has to throw it, because there was no more steps after that, has to throw it right in the spot where he would eventually be found. And so they finish him off in the doorway there in front of Sarah Levinson and Julie Nagel and all these random people. And they carry him out to where they threw his phone and leave him there. And they just hope for the best. Snow comes, covers them up, and then Karen Reed, they just lucked out because Karen Reed starts calling people at 5 a.m. saying, "He's dead, John's dead, I have a broken taillight, I don't know what happened, I don't remember anything, I dropped him at the waterfall." And then she gets a search party together, and they're driving, they pull up to where he is underneath the snow, and she's like, "There he is," and does a swan dive into that snowbank. And much to everyone else's surprise, like, he actually is right there. But nobody else could see him. Even the first responders are saying they couldn't see him until they got out of the truck and were standing like 5 feet away. Because of the topography of the yard, it was like there's bushes there, and there's a tree line, and there's a hydrant, and there's just so much stuff going on in that corner of the yard. And it's dark. It's just like, it's, you know, so then she starts saying, I hit him. And I do believe she said that. Like, she even admits to like saying at least the question, but like, she makes this big deal and attacks witnesses as if it's that much of a difference between asking the question, did I hit him, and saying I hit him. Like, to me, it's not that big of a difference. You're still thinking you hit him, but why would you think that? And then she goes on TV a year and a half later, never tells any cops he went in the house, but on Dateline, she decides to say he went inside the house. Okay, so now he went inside the house, so how would you think you would have hit him? And some of her interviews, she says he was right in the vicinity of where I last saw him, to the left of the front door. She never ever said that he was to the left of the front door, ever. She said she dropped him off in the driveway and he walked up to the door. There was never a time in any interview ever where she said he was ever to the left of the front door. She said she was in that corner of the yard waiting for him, that he got out in the driveway. He was never, ever seen to the left of the front door. So, I mean, it's just like so unbelievable. The entire town of Canton conspired to unalive police officer on their front lawn because Higgins thought Karen Reed was so hot. Exactly. He wanted that no ass so bad. He wanted to smack that no ass. Smack it. And he figured, even though she gave it up to him the week before, the only way he could get it again was to unalive John O'Keefe and then frame her for it. Frame her for it. Because that's the way to a lady's no ass. I mean, come on. And cows can fly. I mean, I just don't even understand the logic in it at all. It's so absurd. Like, if they were going to put him anywhere, it would have been like in the bushes. It would have been in, you know, somewhere where as soon as they put him out there, someone isn't going to stop a car and find him, right? By chance. Or their neighbors aren't going to see them putting him out there, right? Put him in the backyard. They could just say that he came in, he got drunk, and they thought he left, but he must have just got drunk and like fell on some ice in the backyard. And the dog nibbled on his arm or whatever. I mean, there's a million different better choices. And then they just got lucky with Karen Reed cracking her car on what? On what? It's not even, there really is no other possible explanation, because what did she hit her car on? And how did her taillight pieces get there? It's like so unbelievable. I mean, it's so in every cult, it's a person that speaks with authority, and that's what Turtle Boy does very well. He speaks as, you know, we know that that's the time that she went by the library. We know that, you know, this person said this, or Ryan Nichols said he was never in the car. We know that he wasn't in the car at that time. We know that he was already in the house. And people listen to that. Like, that's why Trump is popular. I mean, that's why, you know, if you've seen the Ruby Franke documentary on Hulu, that's why that lady's had a following or had people listen to her. That's what cult leaders do. And like, that's, I mean, some people are looking for direction. They don't want to think. They want someone to tell them. And I think that's, you know, that's what it is. And then all these grifters are learning that. And that's what's kind of scary, is like all these grifters are learning that that's all you got to do. We're in for it. We're in for it as a society. I mean, I guess that's what influencers are in general. Because you can't have opinions that aren't popular, because that will make the audience turn on you. You have to have the popular opinion, and likes and clicks show you. And if you have an opinion that you realize isn't popular, you can delete that video quickly. But even, you don't even have to delete it that quickly, because if it's an unpopular opinion, it's not going to hit the algorithm right anyway. So it's just going to flop anyway. So it doesn't even matter. But then you realize, let me try the opposite position, right? Delete that video. Psh. And that's the problem with algorithms. And like, algorithms favor mob mentality. And like, that is a major problem in our society right now. And with that, I'm going to end this live stream. I'm going to see if my mom's awake, because I was trying to call her today. And to all a good night. I will see you tomorrow. I will be streaming the trial tomorrow. And hopefully we get some action.
You have to believe all of the McAlberts who testified. And so, am I correct in saying that they found the McAlberts to be convincing witnesses and truth tellers?
Correct.
She stated to Miss McCabe, could I have hit him? Did I hit him?
She didn't say that. Who said? Jen McCabe says she said that.
I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
The firefighter said that she said that too.
Who's the firefighter?
Repeated, I hit him.
Katie McLaughlin, who's her best friend?
She's not a close personal friend of mine.
John O'Keefe and Karen Reed never entered my house.
12 people didn't see a guy go in the house. Like, that's what you were relying on.
12 people also didn't see a body when they left.
I did notice something out of the ordinary, like a black blob in the ground by the flagpole.
I also was not looking out my window.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Did anybody in this courtroom ask you if you were looking out your window?
I wouldn't be staring at her grass, so no.
Okay. I didn't ask you where you were staring.
Karen, we saw you outside of my sister's.
I saw the black SUV arrived.
There was another vehicle in front of us.
Up the hill towards us.
On the same road coming from the opposite direction.
It was a black SUV.
I've noticed a male and a female in the car.
A car length and a half in front of me.
There was another car that I hadn't recognized before. It was a dark SUV.
Saw it pull up, stopped, pulled up again, stopped, pulled up again by the flagpole, stopped. That's all I saw.
Just turned around and looked through the blinds.
It wasn't going 50 miles an hour, correct?
I mean, I didn't have a radar gun on me, but no.
Goes up the driveway and approaches the side door.
0 people have said that they saw him enter the home.
Because he's dead.
And at any point in time, did you see anybody exit from that vehicle at any point?
No.
You never saw anyone around the SUV, correct? Correct.
Ryan Nagel didn't see him go in the house because he ran. Because it was real quick. Because he ran because it was cold out.
He must have ran real fast.
That makes sense to a lot of people. What doesn't make sense to anyone.
It does not make sense.
This phone did not enter that home.
Oh, really? Actually did.
That address. One of those individuals is dead and the other individual is alive. Ultimately, and there's damage to the vehicle, then that individual must be responsible for.
So he was going up and down the stairs between 1221 and 1224.
But Waze says he didn't get there till 1224.
The Waze does not say that.
They were with the ascending, descending stairs.
What the defense presented was concrete evidence by the most highly credentialed people and experts in this country.
There were also some puncture wounds in that shirt.
No!
I'm sorry, puncture wounds in the shirt? Puncture holes.
Are you aware that Celebrite has had to modify their software based on misinterpretation of data, as you've done in this case?
Yes.
No!